All right, so containers. The deal with that is you have a piece and you make a lid. That's what makes it a container. So I'm going to start with the lid first, and technically you're throwing it upside down. And so I'll kind of show you what I mean by that once I get done with it. So I'm going to do that off the hump, and so same process. Okay, so I just got the top of it centered, and I'm drilling the well and also kind of pulling it outwards at the same time. Got a couple little air bubbles there. So you want this one to be a little wider. Now notice how I'm keeping a support down in here with that finger, and I'm kind of just working with my index finger and my thumb for right now to keep it on center as much as possible, because I'm pulling it out a lot wider than I did with my spouts.
Except your fish is on.
Yeah, that's alright. The fish's skeleton's
Okay. Okay, so the trick with the lid is you need to keep the rim pretty thick because you have to create a flange. Okay, and I'll tell you what that means. The flange is the little piece that when you put the lid on the container, it doesn't move. So you can do that either way. You can put your flange on your lid, or you can put the flange on the container itself.
Yeah.
So that it depends on the look. So if you want the lid to like look like it fits into the container, you put the flange on the container itself. If you want the lid to look like it goes over, then you put the flange here. So that's how I'm gonna show you guys that technique first. So I'm kind of just pulling a little like bowl form. Almost kind of like a plate, kinda. Okay, so I'm just working at trying to get that to 1/4 of an inch thick, but I want my top lip to stay pretty wide. Okay.
Yeah.
So this will take some practice. Okay, so you can see that I've got just a really basic like bowl, kind of bowl shape, and then the rim is still pretty wide. And I'm keeping it thick and flat, okay? So let me think about what I need to do. Okay, so the easiest way for me to do it to get the cleanest line is to take the back of your needle tool. You're going to support that underside of your lip with your finger. So I'm gonna hold my finger there as support, kind of wet things down here. And then I'm gonna take my needle tool, keep it flat like this, and just push it straight down. And you'll see what happens. So I'm just gonna use this tool. And I just really carefully and that gives me a really, really, really clean line. Okay? If your lip starts getting a little wonky, you can trim off the excess. Okay? Okay, so just like that, all right? So what I have to do now is you have to use a lot of measurements, and I'm kind of realizing I don't have any calipers, and I need to, the grippy hooky thingies. I don't think I have any.
I don't think so.
Or my problem is I didn't search for them before I did this. Hey, you know, you ask me that every day. You need to start going before you come. Okay.
I really can't because my class is so fun. I walk straight here and I'm late.
All right, go. Walk fast. Don't talk to anybody and walk fast. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do is when I make my container, the opening on my container, which is gonna be just like a little bowl or a little vessel, it has to be, let's see, so if I measure from the outside of my flange to the outside of my flange, and it looks like I might need to lay that lid down just a little bit. So I'm measuring from the outside to the outside, and it's a little more than 4 inches. So I'm like, it's a little more than 4. So if you want to, you can make it easy on yourself and make it equal. So it's about 4 and 1/8 of an inch. Nice. So that's what I have to kind of concentrate on. So now I'm going to take this lid off, and you can address the other side. So this is what actually fits into the container. So that's why it's upside down. So I'm going to go ahead and trim it off. Cut it off. And you set it off to the side. Okay, now for my container. I'm gonna just try and do this quickly so you guys can get back to doing whatever you need to do. All right, those of you that are struggling with air bubbles, this is probably what's happening to you quite a bit. It's getting off center, so then you just gotta work at getting everything back on center before you start raising, or then you kind of fight it the whole time. My bat's also kind of rocking back and forth a little bit, and that might mean that the bat pins on the wheel head need to be tightened. So on the underneath side, there should be, you'll feel like a couple of wing nuts that are under there. And if those are loose, that's what will make your bat rock back and forth. They weren't really that loose. Could just be the bat itself. Okay. Yeah, it's just the bat itself, a little warped. Okay, so I've got it centered. I got it pulled out as much as I want to. Now I'm going to raise it. I'm going to start with my volcano. So this is just like throwing a vase, basically. So if you do that volcano pull first, your sides end up being pretty much straight rather than like coming outwards. I don't know, is anyone having problems with that? It's getting a little wider on you than you'd like.
Maybe. What happens to me whenever, well, it's a whole pulling thing for me, like keeping the weight the same.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I do that, I'll get like, maybe I'll be doing good and I get really heavy in the middle all of a sudden, and then it completely warps the whole thing.
Yeah, so like you're pinching pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have trouble raising
from the volcano. I saw this myself,
Okay.
'cause I can't.
If the volcano doesn't work for you, you don't have to do it. I'm gonna go ahead and shape it. I think I like a little circular here. But before, I'm gonna see how wide this is to see if I need to choke it in before I shape it. So the flange is gonna fit within here. So I had to measure on the outer part of the flange, but I have to measure on the inner part of this opening. So I'm gonna see where I'm at. Holy moly. I'm almost exact.
Yeah, it just kind of.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Looks like a good cookie jar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That very rarely, me getting it on the first shot, very rarely happens.
So are you making the flange be bigger than, like, longer diameter wise than that?
Wider?
Maybe not wider, like
It's actually, it should be like the same, it should be the same measurement.
oh
So let's say that from the outside to outside, this was 4 1/4
yeah.
inch. So then this needs to be 4
Oh,
1/4
so it's fitting
inch.
inside of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
one fits inside.
Okay.
This version is where it fits inside.
So every single time you get a fire chief. So if she doesn't want to really eat this, then she can.
I kind of like bulby shapes.
I just think.
Yeah, I do too.
What I want.
So, okay, so I'm checking here, and it might have gotten too small. So my inside, so now I'm too small. I'm at about 3 1/4. So then all I have to do is just kind of pull that out just a little bit, and then I just recheck. So you just kind of keep making your adjustments. So now I'm at about 4. So what I could do is just make this a little straighter. So pull it out just a little bit. Okay, and that's gonna be right about that. So I'll kind of straighten that out. And before, I'm gonna be putting the lid on to show you guys, but in reality you would wait, let them both get leather hard. Now the thing is you've gotta let them dry at the same rate. And then you might have to do some like cleaning up on the top of your lid, and you're gonna see what I mean here in a second. Okay, so here's another kind of tutorial on how to use the pointed stick. Angle goes against, like, to the pot, and then you slowly work it down to the bat, and I kind of angle it out as I'm doing that. I'll stop my wheel, get it started here. Go slow.
That is where the problem I had happened.
Yeah, you keep digging those little holes.
Yeah, where the bat connects to the actual wheel. There's holes there.
There's holes and then there's inner holes between that. And Logan was like, "There's no point in these."
I don't mind the lines, they work, but the dots, the 3 dots.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick this up.
See how well a fit it was.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Not too bad.
Beautiful.
So it would fit in like that, and obviously this is why you don't want to do it when it's like still wet.
Because now
You're gonna have this kind of wonky, and so when it's leather hard and you don't want your rim to get real messed up. So whenever you have this, depending on how uneven, I can either show you. I don't know about giving you guys trimming tools yet and like trimming on the wheel yet, because that's really tough and you're just not there yet. So you might have to just kind of hand work that, and then you can get wet clay and you can either sculpt out. Okay.
doing.
Yeah. It's like a snail trail.
Yeah.
So you can either sculpt it out or you could throw it, but you could make,
Little ball.
yeah, like little ball, or yeah, maybe I want it to be like sculpty or something, and then what?
Can you add
Yeah,
Water,
pumpkin.
yeah. And so then that turns into your little topper.
Yeah.
That's how you can pull that off. Okay, should be good there.
All right.